Hi friends, how we doing? Happy Friday. Hope you like your flowers that I've sent you. You liking my bow? It's a bit special, isn't it? I got a great delivery from Zigzag and Sew. They made the most exquisite hairbands and bows. And can you believe they actually make face masks to match? And you know how much I love everything coordinating. Hi Anita, hope you, Mum and Robbie are doing really well. Thank you for joining me. So today what we're going to do is we're going to be creating something a bit different. Now I'm absolutely in love with Simple Stories paper collection. It is beautiful. Hi Julia, thanks for joining me. This is, it's just everything I love about a paper kit. It really, really is. It's available at Create and Craft, and this is my own personal choice. I'm not actually working for the company, but look how lush them papers are. So all I've done is, it's quite hard because you have to choose. So I've actually had to buy 2 pads because you have to work on the reverse as well. So I've taken this absolutely beautiful floral and the watercolour one as well. So let me turn you around and you can see what I'm up to. Hi Kate, long time no see, sweetheart. Look how well you are. Hope you're doing really, really good. I think it's your first day back at work today. Now, Kate and I used to work together at Create and Craft USA. Off to do bits of work soon. Hi Jessica, hope you're doing really well as well. So let me turn you around and we can start getting crafty, okay? Here we go. So all I've taken is a simple card, and then I've just taken the decorative paper and I've cut it so it will fit perfectly as 2 corners. I've also gone around the edge with my sanding block. What this will do is it will create a beautiful, almost like shabby chic layer, and it just makes it also not look as vibrant against the white, because then what happens is it just blends in. Can you see that? It just blends in so easy. So now I'm going to take that gorgeous floral and place that just there. Now I am leaving a tiny increment of space in between to separate the areas. Now next, what I've been doing, we're going to do a bit of stamping. I am using my sentiments exactly, and I've cut out 2.5 by 2.5 squares. Then this one I've cut in half. I've been doing some white embossing and some watercolour painting over them. These are really darling, beautiful little characters, like little rabbits hanging upside down on balloons. So this one that I'm going to stamp right now is the rabbit with the umbrella. This gorgeous, gorgeous little stamp. So I'm just going to take, I'm using embossing ink, which is lettering. So I'm just giving that a good old load up. Then I'm going to be using cream embossing powder, just because it ties in beautifully with that background papers. Even though we're using white, it should work gorgeous. So I'm just making sure I've got really good coverage of that stamp, and I'm using my Eureka. So now I'm going to take this off. I'm just going to pop it into some cream embossing powder. Brands do vary. It depends what you prefer, what type of finish you want. There's just so many on the market. Now, once you tap off, sometimes you get this, which is just a tiny little patch which you didn't actually ask for. Just get yourself a paintbrush and just flick it back in there, because then what that will do is keep your pristine image. Right, I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second, and I will show you them stamps as a whole. Now, this one is the darling little fox. Absolutely beautiful. Get oodles of sentiments as well with these. And then these are the bunnies that I'm using. Gorgeous. So now I'm just going to heat set this. Again, I'll just use a paintbrush to hold it down. So it doesn't take too long, and I love the effects. It's just so satisfying to watch when you're heat embossing. It really, really is. So as soon as it stops looking granulated and it's more fluidy, if you like, then that's when you've embossed completely. So I'm just going to carry on going ahead. Look at him hanging on for dear life, bless him. This beautiful little umbrella. Now, the reason why I'm doing this card as well today is because I want to show you that sometimes you don't need all the stamps, sometimes you don't need everything all at once, sometimes you don't need to use large things to create something amazing. So now I'm going to give this a little paint. Let me just check that that embossing is dry. Lovely. And I'm just going to start painting my little rabbit. So I've got a tad of grey here, and I'm really going to make it quite translucent. I really don't want it to be a real heavy stark colour. And then I'm going to go in a tiny little bit of black, just a tiny tad, and we're just going to put a tiny bit of shading round, and you can see just around. A little bit of water. There. Sorry about that, friends. Somebody called. How rude. Okay, let's go down. Carry on. So let's look at the colour tones. We've got yellows, we've got blues, we've got greens. I think I'm going to go in the green here. But it is a bit vibrant, so I'll just pick up that little bit of blue and just sort of bring that down a bit. So a little bit of blue, but not navy, but teal, if you know what I mean. Now I'm just going to take my chisel brush and I'm just going to over the top, and I'm going to go into water. Just make sure you don't pick up too much water so it's excessive, and then we're just going to drain that colour down to the bottom, pick it up, just move it around like so. Now I'm just going to heat set this very quick. Make sure it doesn't drip. We don't want it to push drips anyway. So the way we don't push drips is to do circles. I don't mind the watercolour stain, that's perfect. Because now I'm going to go on to my inks. So looking at my style that I've been doing already, I'm probably going to go into the blue and the green. So I'm going to be using tumbled glass and a little bit of bundled sage. Bundled sage is one of my key ones that I always use. I love, love, love it. So I should be on my mat. Here we go. Using a craft mat, basically what it does is it stops you using so much ink, because what happens is you are applying more ink to the card. If you use a craft mat, what happens is you are pulling it off where the excess goes on behind it. So I'm just going to go round, just blue, bring it right down the edge, but I'm not putting it right over the whole of the card. You can see that there's almost a little bit of a halo around the imagery. There we go. Now I'm going to go straight in with my bundled sage. Exactly the same again, but look at this, because this is a oxide, it's much more richer in pigment. I barely need to go back to my ink pad. There we go. Now to finish, I'm going to be using the Stamps by Me super beautiful blending brushes. Now check this, once I do this, it just smooths it. Smooths it right out. Gorgeous. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some matte and layers for my pieces. So I think I'll use foam pad for this, which I probably should have done already. But make sure they are up the right way for the imagery. So this little one is upside down. And I'm popping it onto a pink mat. Beautiful. This one's our little brolly buddy we just created. I'm just going to take this on here. Again, go straight on the pink. Gorgeous. Now you can see that I've done them as almost sort of cascading down. I'm going to go on the pink now with this beautiful little fella. Absolutely stunning. Again, a couple of bits of foam. Now, Art Journal Monday, this Monday, is going to be purple and blue. I really hope you can come join me. Now, 2.5 by 2.5 square with a mat of probably about 2 mil. So I've cut one of them in half, and then I've just done a sort of portion of the stamp, just the balloons actually, and I've also made a mat for that to go on as well. So I'm just gonna add my pad on there. There we go. Just enough to lift it away from that pink design. Right, let's come back and see what we're gonna do. So I'm going to pop one up here, one down here, one down here, then this little beauty's going to go right in there. So again, I'm going to use foam just to pull it away from that background, because if you are doing a lot of colour on colour, it makes sense to lift it up away and have a block mat to tie it together. Because then otherwise it'll just blend in the background, it'll be too busy. So I'm just going to continue that block. Here we go. I love that little one on the umbrella, so cute. And the balloons are just there, and you want to keep these areas free because what they do is separate it as well. So now I've got my sentiment, I'm going to come over to a piece of my matte and layer, and I'm simply going to grab my sanding block. You can use an emery or like a nail file for this as well if you haven't got a sanding block, and you're just taking that top coat off. This is a great way as well to add a matte layer without actually adding a matte layer. So also I've got my sentiment in here, which is love and adored. And place this one on top here, nice and simple, and then my sentiment. Now this is also from that paper collection. Absolutely beautiful. So there we go, I'm just going to add a tiny piece of foam, and we'll see where to place it. I'm thinking there, yeah. Now the places you could place this, if you're looking at this and thinking, well, I don't know where a sentiment would be, it could go here, that would fit perfectly. It could go here, that would fit perfectly. It could go here, or it could go here. And this is where I'm choosing to put mine. So I really hope you like my card. Let's have a look. Hi! Hiya everyone, how you doing? So there we go, cream embossing of characters with that 3D style of card. I hope you're liking this. It's a little bit different, isn't it? I've got some great news as well. Next Thursday, I still will be doing Art Journal Monday. I will be doing Facebook crafts at home on Wednesday and Friday. But Thursday, I'm going to be crafting all brands group. If you'd like to come over, I'm going to be exclusive on there to show you and play, really. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'll have a little think about that. Now, my second card today is going to be made from all those lovely scraps from the card we just used. This is the easiest way to use them. Now, I've not planned this card, so what is the blue distress ink you use? I use tumbled glass, darling. Tumbled glass, sage oxide, so that is just distress ink, that is distress oxide. the Tattered Rose Oxide and the Distress Ink Spun Sugar. Okay, so this next card project, I don't really know what it's going to turn out like because I just want to have a little play. Also, I think it's important for you to see how I actually sort of plan and create. It's kind of weird really. Some people measure, do layers and checks. Mine just comes out. So I just want to show you how that happens to me. So I've got random bits. Let's turn it round. Here's my card. This is just a DL card. I believe this is, oh, I'd say 1, 2, 3, about 4.5 inches, probably by about 7. Now these are my scraps. Let's have a look at what we can do with this. Right, okay. So I'm just gonna pop that one on the top this time. Really easy. And you'll notice I don't place thin stick. Most of the time I just stick. So now this one, I'd like this to be, instead of maybe opposing like that half and half like I did on the other project, I think I might want to lift that. So I'm going to use some foam again to lift that away. A piece like this. Piece like this. And you'll just need a little sliver for that top. Now if you don't do that top, that's going to be constantly curling down. It'll drive you crazy. So just stick it down to begin. So now I'm going to take this. And I'm going to complete that, I think, and leave an edge just around. There we go. So now I've got a pocket. So let's have a look at all these other little lovely bits I've got. Right, I've got some odd squares. Oh, that was handy. That fits. That's good, right? Okay, I've also got these sort of scrappity bits. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm just going to rip them to show that white base cardstock. They always rip towards you. Gorgeous. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some tape runner on this, and I'm simply just going to use them scraps. It's almost like banners. I don't want it right to the edge. Always cut from the back. Lovely, lovely. Now this one's kind of dotty. I like this. So again, let's just rip that. Nice and easy. This one's going to be quite a tiny little strip. And again, just using tape runner. I'm using the opposing side this time. And I'm just going to go over, turn the card over, cut off your excess. Let's look at these. I have 2 of these. So now, what can we put on there? Maybe some balloons. Let's have a look. So, if I grab my Eureka again, I'm thinking just balloons. So I don't want the fox on there this time. And I'm just going to put an umbrella. So I'm not using the whole of the stamp, just a piece of it. Pick that up. I think I will emboss it, but this time I think I'll emboss with clear maybe. Fingertip dancing. Let me just empty my cream embossing. These little Sizzix trays are brilliant. I think Paper Mania do one as well, but I like it because it's pink. And I'm just going to grab some clear. Now I use a lot of Wow embossing powders. It is brilliant. It says what it does on the tin basically. It works an absolute dream. So, Wow embossing powder this time. Clear. Lovely. And let me just check that. Make sure it doesn't need a little bit more. If it does. Let's do it. There we go. So I'm just going to heat set them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some ink blending on these. So let's see what we've got. I need a little tad of yellow in there, I'm thinking. So I'm going to grab some pink and I'm going to go with the Distress Oxide Tattered Rose. A little bit of colour of watercolour, just a little tad. Let me see if I've got a lighter colour in here. Just grab some pinky purple. And I can grab a little bit of that tealy blue, the one that sits just behind. Go. A tad of grey. Lovely. Now I'm going to pick up some blue. And I'm going to go on to yellow, but my ink pad's already quite saturated with ink. So because of that, I actually don't want to use too much. Use paper. If you haven't tried this, maybe just hold it with paper while you add more colour definition. Because fingerprints ruin work. Well, sometimes they're good, but sometimes they're not. So I'm going to go into the Distress Oxide of the flower, sage, bundled sage. Just a little tad, lovely. Now let's come over to here. I'm going to add, I'll probably go teal. I'm going to go teal at the top. Like so. A bit of watercolour going into that yellow. Make sure it's not too watery. I'm just going to pour that colour up from the bottom. And of course it will naturally mix with the teal that you have on there already. Lovely. Now I'm going to go into a tad of orange. Just a little bit. Do the very bottom. Blend it up. Right, now I'm just going to pick up some green. Take that off, go back into yellow. Straight in with a tad of pink. Lovely. And then I'm just going to use my fan brush to add some water detail. Then heat set that. Lovely. So now I'm sure I had mats for them to go on. I seem to have one. Where's the other one? Oh, it's there. Look, it's there. He's there. So we'll just place them on, and I'm using a tape runner this time. But don't worry, because we're going to use foam in a minute to pull it away from that background. And I love this effect because it almost looks like it's raining with a different effect. So now I'm going to start placing. Ooh, let's have a look. You know, I do love that. Right. So we're going to place it like this. Really, really easy. I'm going to place one here, one in there. Then we're going to start adding a bit more detail. I'm just going to cut this in half. Bring that one so it sits perfectly in between the two lines. This one's a little bit tucked in the pocket. There we go. Then I'm going to take all these wonderful little strips that I have, and we are going to create some beautiful banners. So you just cut a point into them. This one. You can do long points, you can do short points. Completely up to you. And I'm going to save this one maybe. Yeah, I'll save that one for my sentiment. So now, using these, we can just start adding detail in layers. Let's have a look. That one needs to go somewhere. Yeah. No. Yes. Turn it over. Have it back. Perfect. Okay, I'm just going to have a little bit of glue to this. Just put them in, glue them. those edges. I do love that effect. Just on the banners, just on the tails of your banners, especially if it's double-sided, because then you get to see both sides of the paper stock, and they always tend to coordinate perfectly anyway. Lovely. So now we need a sentiment. Now this is not particularly been cut brilliant, but let's have a look what we got. Oh, we got lots and lots and lots. I love you, I think it's the one I'm going to be using, so I'm just going to grab some black ink and an acrylic block. I'm just going to place it on there. Take that straight in the centre. Come on, you. Heat set that quick to make sure the ink's dry before you apply any other inks or sanding to it. So now I'm just going to grab just going to sand the edges a little. Also what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl the edge a bit. So I'm going to pull it up and then I'm just going to do a tiny little step. Now it's not a crease step, it's more of just a bend, because then that will fit beautifully just there. I'm going to add a foam pad to lift that up. As you can see here, I'm using small pieces just for the two edges. Like so. And I'm going to make sure that curl is quite predominant. Now I'm going to place that, kick it out, done. There we go. Hiya, how are we doing? There we go. So that's card 2 for today. Thank you so, I'm looking for card 1 to show you again. Here we go. There we go. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed your little seed of inspiration for the weekend. Feel free to share. Feel free to catch up on all of my Facebook Lives. They are available on YouTube. Subscription is still out. It's a monthly box. £15 delivered to your door, contains 5 projects and everything you need to create it within it. Pop along to my blog, Carley Duff Creations, and you'll be able to purchase yours there. You can buy it either in 6 months or you can pay as you go per month. Really don't mind. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to Art Journal Monday, and I will see you there, well, here at 1 PM. Take care. Have a great weekend. See you later. Bye.